Next, our topic is file system. നമ്മൾ ഓൾറെഡി സി പ്രോഗ്രാമിലൊക്കെ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം എഴുതി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അതായത് ഒരു 2 നമ്പർ ആഡ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം എഴുതി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആ പ്രോഗ്രാമിനുള്ള വാല്യൂസ്, അതായത് 2 നമ്പേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ ഓരോ തവണയും ഇൻപുട്ടായി കൊടുക്കുന്നു, ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് കാണുന്നു, അങ്ങനെയാണ് വരുന്നത്. If suppose we want to write those input or output into a file, then we will use a file system there. Okay, file system. അതായത് നോർമലി നമ്മുടെ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഡേറ്റ എവിടെയും സ്റ്റോർ ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു ആർ യൂസിങ് എ ഫയൽ സിസ്റ്റം, ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി സ്റ്റോർഡ് പെർമനൻ്റ്ലി സംവെയർ. ഓക്കെ, എവിടെയാണ് സ്റ്റോർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് നമുക്ക് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. File is a collection of correlated information which is recorded on secondary or non-volatile storage like magnetic disk, optic disk, and tapes, etc. We know the structure of a computer organization. CPU is used for executing the programs, and we have a main memory. Main memory യുടെ peculiarity നമ്മൾ already discuss ചെയ്തു, because volatile memory ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. Means നമ്മുടെ ഡേറ്റ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം will be stored in secondary memory permanently, and when there is a need to execute by the CPU, it will be loaded to main memory, and from main memory it will go to CPU. Okay, so whenever we are turning the power off, the main memory will lose the complete information stored here. Okay, but secondary memory അങ്ങനെയല്ല. സെക്കൻഡറി മെമ്മറിക്കകത്ത് നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റോർ ചെയ്ത ഡേറ്റ പെർമനന്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് നോൺ വോളറ്റൈൽ. ഓക്കെ, സോ നമ്മളൊരു പ്രോഗ്രാമിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഫയൽ സിസ്റ്റം യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഡേറ്റ വിൽ ബി സ്റ്റോർഡ് ഇൻ ടു ദ സെക്കൻഡറി മെമ്മറി where is the file resides. Okay, so that is what is discussed here, and it is a method of data collection that is used as a medium for giving input and receiving output from the program. And we know everything inside a computer are sequence of bits. In the same way, a file is also a sequence of bits, bytes, or records whose meaning is defined by file creator and user. Every file has logical location where they are located for storage and retrieval. So we will discuss the objectives of file management system. I think it's almost clear for you the need for a file management system. So here are some main objectives. So it provides input output support for a variety of storage device types, minimizes the chances of lost or destroyed data, helps operating system to standardized IO interface routines for user processes, and it also provides IO support for multiple users in a multiple user environment system. And what are the properties? Here are some properties. Files are stored on disk or other storage and do not disappear when a user log off. And files have names and are associated with access permission that permits controlled sharing. Files should be arranged over more complex structures to reflect the relationship between them. And one thing I have to remind you is നമ്മളൊരു വിൻഡോസ് ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് സിസ്റ്റം യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനകത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് ഡ്രൈവ്സ്, വി ആർ ഫെമിലിയർ, ലോക്കൽ ഡിസ്ക് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ ടേംസ് യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദെയർ. ലോക്കൽ ഡിസ്ക് C is for system use, and E, F, and so on. This is a disk, and where you can create a folder of your name. So this is a folder like a sample. Inside the folder you can create different folders. Okay, either you can create different folders or different files like document and Excel sheet, text document, and so on, and even you can create an image like files. Okay, so these files are have some unique structures, like they have unique name, extension, some other properties. Okay, so we'll discuss it further. So what is a file structure? A file structure need to be predefined format in such a way that an operating system understand. It has an exclusively defined structure which is based on its type. We know there are 3 types of file system: text file, where a series of characters that are organized in lines. Object file എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ a series of bytes ആയിരിക്കും. And we know നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ എഴുതിയൊരു program, suppose a C program എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് sample.c ആയിരിക്കും. And when it is compiled, it will go into an object file. Okay. And which is executable format as exe, that means bits. So you can see text file, object file, and source file. Source file is a series of functions and processes. And what are the attributes of a file? So name, we know, is the only information stored in a human readable form. Identifier, every file is identifying by a unique tag number within a file system known as identifier. Location, you can see നിങ്ങളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഫയലിന്റെ പ്രോപ്പർട്ടിയിൽ ഫയലിൽ വന്ന് റൈറ്റ് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ you can see the property and properties. So there you can see location, ID, type. Type means നിങ്ങളിപ്പോൾ doc ഫയൽ ആണെങ്കിൽ doc, excel ഫയൽ ആണെങ്കിൽ XLS, image ആണെങ്കിൽ PNG or JPG and so on. Okay. Size, attributes used to display the current file size. Protection, here privileges to read, write, or execute the file. And you can see the time, date, and security also there in the property of a file. And file types are given here. It refers to the ability of the operating system to differentiate various types of files like text files, binary files, and source file. So here you can see the different types of files, and functions are given here. Functions is also symbol. Create file, find space, write file, read, delete, read position, and so on. Commonly used terms in file system are field, database, files, and record. And next we are going to discuss an important topic, that is file access methods. File access is a process that determines the way that files are accessed and read to memory. Generally, a single access method is always supported by operating system. So, different types of access methods you can see here are, these are important: sequential access, direct random access, and indexed sequential access. Here, in sequential access, which is the operation emulated in magnetic tape. And here, as its name implies, one record is processed after another. That means this is your files. You can see records R1, R2, R3, R4, and so on. Okay. So ആദ്യം ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് R1 ആയിരിക്കും. R1 എന്ന് പറയുന്ന റെക്കോർഡിനെ ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് R2നെ ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുന്നു, R3നെ ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ 1 by 1 ആയിട്ട് ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സീക്വൻഷ്യൽ ആക്സസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ സീക്വൻഷ്യൽ ആക്സസ് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് ഓപ്പറേഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. They are read next. Read next means read a record and move pointer to next position. That means read R1 and move the pointer to the R2. Okay. So next operation that supports sequential access is write next. Write next means write a record and move pointer to the next one. Okay. Then third you can see rewind. Rewind means moving back to the earlier location. At present, suppose the pointer is at R2, move back. That means move to R1. And skip end records. Here, suppose skip 3 എന്ന് കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ R2, R3, R4. At present, suppose the pointer is at R1, and it will skip 3 records like R2, R3, and R4 and move on to the R5. But one thing is there, it depends on the operating system. Okay. So these are about sequential access. Next is random access, which is also called direct access. Here it is based on the disk model. So it allows random access. That means here it was sequential access. Here it allows random access. User can jump to any record and access that record. We have already drawn a picture of records R1, R2, R3, R4 and so on. So from R2 it can jump to R5. From R5 jump to R3 and so on. This is random access, and here also different operations are there which is supported by the direct access. But first is read n. Read n. That means reading record number n, reading record number 3, reading record number 5 and so on. Next is write n. So same as read, writing record number n. And next third operation is jump to record number n. So this is jump to 10. Okay, jump to 0, jump to 5, jump to 10 and so on. And fourth operation is query current record. Query current record. Used to return back to this record. Means current record query ചെയ്യുന്നത് തൊട്ട് മുമ്പത്തെ റെക്കോർഡിലേക്ക് പോകാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. And next type of access is indexed access. Indexed access. Here index is created which contains a key field and pointers to the various blocks. Pointers means memory location where the file is stored. Here you can see a table like where key is there and pointer is also there. Okay, K1, K2 and corresponding memory locations will be there. Index is created which contains a key field and pointer to the various blocks. Means ഈ pointer എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് file store ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള memory locations ആണ്. So these are the three different types of access methods, file access methods, which is important. So sequential access, direct access and indexed access method. So we'll discuss the space allocation in the next lecture, next video. Okay.